Hi there. Welcome to 2026. Or not. Let's escape to a whole nother year and timeline. But where would we go? Back to the hellscape of 2025? No, thank you. 2026 is a little better of a year, I suppose. It depends on who you're talking to because the volatility does not wane, unfortunately, for the collective. But what can we do as individuals while all this is stirring? I want to share some important dates for everybody. I will spare you the 79 transits that I've noted as important in 2026. I will be doing dedicated videos to these transits. Visit my website, ClarissaDolphinExplainsItAll.com, or my YouTube channel to check these out. Let's start with the ingresses. So Neptune, I use tropical astrology. Neptune in Aries happens 26th of January. Saturn in Aries, 13th of February. Uranus in Gemini, 25th of April. Jupiter in Leo, 29th of June. Lunar North Node in Aquarius, Lunar South Node in Leo, 26th of July. And I think personally, so much astrology was happening in 2025, not just personally, collectively. The ingresses going back and forth, the retrogrades, Venus retrograde, Mars retrograde, everything was, there was just way too much astrology. And I feel like this is maybe 10 or 15% less of the astrology, but same impact. A similar impact as 2025. Key themes for this year, for the collective, and perhaps for us as individuals, are brazenness, courage, chaos, take no shit, martyrdom, fundamentalism, ideology, ritual, spiritual cohesion, living and dying for beliefs, fighting. Some of the key transits that are really grabbing my eye are everything to do with Mars Uranus and Saturn Neptune, as well as the lunar nodes and their new ingress. In a very rare every hundreds of years aspect, we have Saturn conjunct Neptune in Aries on 20th of February. This is where that fundamentalism and that martyrdom and ideology really takes hold. Saturn-Neptune will die for its beliefs, particularly its beliefs about religion, where we go in the afterlife and things like that. It's a very kind of traditional religious planetary combination, and that is likely to engender martyrs for movements, issues around indoctrination, deeply held beliefs in place over a significant amount of time. We're talking about decades, centuries of beliefs that are really embedded. Obviously, we haven't lived through centuries as individuals, but some of the things that we latch on to have, and we're just going to be met with how to deal with this. We also have Mars-Uranus making significant transits throughout the year, literally from January through December. On January 19th, we have Mars trine Uranus. Mars-Uranus is the most volatile planetary pair, in my humble opinion, in all of astrology. It's violence. It literally translates as present action. So it's boom, like it's just gonna get to business right now. It does not have patience. It does not have thoughts. It is eruption. And that, in human terms, often relates to straight up physical violence, arms, guns, blades, fists, and that kind of violent volatility that many of us would love to avoid. Mars-Uranus is also directly related to athleticism and sports, so it's very, very physical. And I feel as individuals this year, it is really important with Saturn-Neptune and Mars-Uranus just really rocking our worlds for the entire year. It's really important on the Saturn-Neptune flex to have rituals in place, spiritual rituals for you that are fundamentally for your own personal good and expression. This is really deep energy. Saturn Neptune really thinks about the whole arc of its life and why it's here and its purpose. And it will do altar work, it'll do spells, it'll pray to God, it'll go to mass, it'll do heavy meditation to honor the arc of its own soul, the journey of its own soul. So when I'm talking about having rituals and things like that in place, it really, really goes deep. It's not surface ritual. It's not going to Walgreens every 3 days. It is, what the fuck am I here for? I am ready to die for my beliefs. And obviously this is not good. The transit astrology involves all the crazies. It involves everybody in the external world, which is why it is more brutal than natal astrology. And another thing that I would advise is booking a reading with myself or another astrologer or spiritual practitioner that you trust to really get a hold on what these rituals are for you, where it is important for you to commit in 2026, not just for your soul's development, but just to anchor in sanity and normalcy. Because as we have that Saturn-Neptune thing going on, Saturn-Neptune is active, but it's a little slower in its activity than Mars-Uranus, which is like popping off like brrr, Tommy gun, machine gun out here. It is really, really, really throttling energy. And we have that on 19th of January, Mars trine Uranus, but we also have Mars conjunct Uranus on July 3rd. And that's when things really, really pop off, right in the middle of the year, right during the summer in the Northern Hemisphere. It escalates, and that's very unfortunate, I think, for the collective in terms of global violence and war. It seems almost imminent with that Mars conjunct Uranus that some kind of even more advanced conflict is going to be more inflamed. And we end the year with Mars square Uranus retrograde. The Mars-Uranus throttle, not really that fun. I think what we need to do as individuals with Mars-Uranus, people say, often I see diviners saying the opposite, like, oh, Mars-Uranus is happening, try to control your temper. I personally, as a diviner, don't believe that it's necessarily helpful to counter the energy. I think ideally, yes, don't take out your gun and blast somebody. That's never a good idea. Don't lose your temper and slap somebody. That kind of violence, in my opinion, as a human being is never a good idea. But what you can do is run across the fucking street. Run. Like run 150 meters. Seriously, go to the gym so you don't pop somebody in their fucking forehead, right? Like tempers are high. Really, when we have Mars-Uranus activity like this, we want to release it through sweat. We want to get the sweat out. We want to release the energy so that we're exhausted and we don't smack somebody in the face, right? And also just like the level of physicality of this year is a lot. I think if you are empathic, if you have any form of spiritual or emotional abilities, if you will, you're probably not sleeping much these days because there are all these different elements spinning around, beings suffering, pollution, like just everything, right? And so this is a time to get the sweat molecules pumping. Like, let's go. Do something physical. the revolution's already taking place, right? Pluto in Aquarius has been stationed in Aquarius since the end of November 2024. We've seen the historicity of this, and it does involve social movements that topple greedy governments and greedy rulers and things like that. Pluto in Aquarius is a 2043 arc, though. The arc of this story and this chapter in 2026 is really the madness of avarice and how it creates unnecessary conflict. And so the whole war vibe as a collective and the war reality as a collective is this is like a pop off year where it's the initiation of that. I often wonder, well, when are the people going to rise up and take control? This has already happened in Tibet. Tibet was like, fuck this. The first year of Pluto in Aquarius, they're like, I'm taking back my government. Obviously, people are rising. Iranians are rising. When are Americans going to rise against their militaristic, greedy corporate government? Personally, I think that's going to happen at the end of the year, November 11th, when the lunar north node is opposing Jupiter in Leo. That's when Americans are going to find their voice. That's when the whole world is going to be over it, right? Because the whole world, America's its own thing. If you're curious about the arc of this American chapter in our history, please check out my webinar series. It's very thorough. What the fuck USA, the astrology behind the madness. It's very comprehensive in addressing what's going on with America now and in the future. However, corporate overlords are everywhere. Oil companies, oil barons, the AI tech lords, all this kind of stuff is everywhere. It's ubiquitous. And so this is not just like an American uprising. This is a universal uprising that really takes place from that November date. On a more personal level, we've got some Mercury retrogrades. They're all in water signs, which is so fascinating to me. And I have people in the past be like, oh, I'm so unaffected by Mercury retrogrades. And I'm like, good for you. I'm very jealous. I wish that I wasn't affected by Mercury retrogrades. I am. I always get jacked up. The Mercury retrogrades take place 25th of February through 20th of March. That's in Pisces, from June 29th to the 23rd of July in Cancer, from 24th of October to 13th of November in Scorpio. And obviously the whole water element situation, this is a removal and or a shake up. So I think that's really what retrogrades are. They're just unpredictable. We don't know what they're going to do, right? The apparent path of movement just isn't making sense. And so that in water element emotions, it's head detached from emotions. What the fuck are we doing, feeling? Why is this happening, right? And that, unfortunately, does not bode well for the collective in terms of madness. So one thing that I also want to put to us is that there is no rhyme and reason other than potentially greed, but there really is not logic in leadership right now. Like, our leaders are mad kings. Like, they're fucking crazy, right? And I'm saying that because of the astrology. It's not a personal belief. We have a lot of 11th harmonic in the 2026 astrology. 13th harmonic has also been present. 11th harmonic is the opposite of stability. It's complete chaos. There is no stability. And so madness, like I have no other way to explain it other than losing your fucking mind, right? And so when we have this in mind with some of our leadership. I'm going to go more in depth with this, and I have gone in depth with this in What the Fuck USA, the astrology behind the madness. But when we're talking about a social revolution and a potential uprising, even like the whole November thing, it seems so far away at the time of recording this video. And it's like, why isn't that happening right now? Well, strategy. The lunar north node, unlike Uranus, Mars Uranus, or the 11th harmonic, the lunar north node is powerful dynamic action that is smooth. Like it's not loosey-goosey. So it's like really logic versus madness. So we will get there when we get there. Stay the course and try. I've already lost patience. I was going to say try not to lose patience, and like I'm already done. We will do our best. One thing that I can say about these transits and ingresses is that people are giving less and less fucks. For good and ill, there's a lot of courage and insanity coming to the surface. On a personal level, as individual, yes, give less fucks. Yes, live your life. Fight for it. We lose the luxury of superficiality in 2026 as the basis of living. Shit is getting real. We're all, because of Saturn-Neptune conjunction, going to need to honor all of our personal rituals and find something bigger to believe in. Something to sacrifice for, a reason to live. It's that deep, and that's what we're investing in. As the wider world becomes more reckless, volatile, violent, we're all going to be infected by the conflict. And I'm so sorry for all those who are suffering. And these personal rituals, they're going to ground us. Stay sharp, right? Tacticalness versus a reckless enemy. It's not us against the world, right? We're all like living in this. But if you are fortified in your spiritual beliefs, your rituals, your meditation, your whatever, your goal for life, helping animals, helping other people, doing whatever, being a paperclip maker, I don't give a shit what it is. Stay tactical in your ritual, let off steam, and let's go.